All right, Brian and Micah back for another beginner Jiu Jitsu class. This is our third class for our white belts. We offer beginner class here at our academy. We're going to be going through all the basic information for if you're attending class, you want to use this as a review, right? So we go through the classes periodically, and we just are filming them so you have access to that resource. So we're gonna go ahead and get started with base, all right? So Micah, show me your base. Here, good, right? Every class in here, one way or another, we're gonna work base and defense against strikes, okay? So just to recap is, our feet, we don't want them too narrow. We wanna be able to maintain balance side to side and front and back, okay? If we're on the ground, our guard means our legs. If we're standing, our guard is going to be our arms, right? And we're going to go into that in this class in a few different ways, defending strikes, and then, just using this to keep our face protected at all times and to be able to clinch and cover, okay? So base with a staggered stance, that's the main theme that we've been working with. We need to be able to move in all directions, okay? So here's something. If I step and slide, I don't want to slide this foot too far forward. Your feet will become too narrow this way when you're moving forward back, okay? If you're moving forward, front foot. If you're moving backwards, back foot, right? If you're left foot, right foot. Move the direction you're going, okay? We want to be able to move diagonally here. And we want our hips facing forward, okay? And this is a defensive posture, right? We're trying to be able to defend against clinches, strikes, and off balances. Somebody grabbing us, basically, okay? Last thing we'll do is circling, where somebody's trying to kind of go around us and we're just maintaining our vision, okay? So think about this space between my hands right here. It's almost like a triangle, right? I'm putting that right about that nose level. And I want to keep you in that line of sight. Okay, that's going to allow me again to be able to defend against strikes or initiate clinches if that's what I'm wanting to do or if that's what is appropriate. Okay, so getting a good base, Micah. Okay, now let's just do this. Let's just step forward and backwards. There, good. Now wait till I go to step back and you pursue. Just forward and backwards. Let's check our distance. Good, back up just a hair, okay? Good. Now let's go side to side, okay? You move when I move. Yeah, right, maintain. But here's the thing, we learn how to do it, we learn the directions, and then over time, over a few classes, we develop the ability to be able to follow, to be able to use some strategy, to be able to maintain distance, but also maintain line of sight, right? I'm thinking about this almost like a scope, right? I want to keep you in that line of sight. So if I'm going around this way, just keeping me in this line of sight, right? Keep those knees bent, don't get your feet too narrow, all right? If I lunge at you, go backwards. Good, we're circling again. Nice. Okay, so we're just going to add a component to that. What I want him to do is to follow, right? So where I go, he goes. That's what we're doing, a following drill from standing distance, right? So then I'm going to check his base. I'm going to grab him, push him, pull him, shake him side to side, grab his hands, his wrists. His hands are up, I'm going to grab him. That's why we introduced the wrist grab, right? Is here, I'm grabbing and pulling off balance. Okay, that's good. I don't want to be able to push or pull him, lift him up, pull him in, push him back. And where that's going to be our tests, okay? So we're just going to go movement and we'll follow a few steps and then I'll check your base. Let's go from distance here, maintain distance. Check this. Good. Nice. Come back forward a little bit. check our distance, circling. Yeah, that's good, check your distance, good. Circling, good. Maintain distance, I'm getting further away, keep that 2-hand distance. Yes, check. Good, okay? And you're adjusting, and that's what you have to do, all right? You have to be able to adjust. You know, Mike and I were talking about some of these tenets before we started filming the class. And, you know, part of the skill of base is the ability to go just like I'm standing right now into defensive posture. Whether that's somebody coming up behind me trying to lift me up, I'm dropping base down in a square stance. Or whether that's somebody in my line of sight here, I'm trying to, again, make my scope here, keep him in my line of sight, and assume that. But I can go right to that, okay? So just a simple little idea on base. We are developing our movement from our base in this class and in future classes. And again, we're working on base every class. Okay, so now we talked about this distance, maintaining distance, and then clinching. That was a major theme from last class. Now we did a drill with our belt, right? A friend of mine calls it a ball and chain, right? That's a cool term for it. And last time we saw swinging it horizontally, okay? Let's check our distance here, good. So we saw swinging it side to side like this. And what he's trying to do is time when to come in for the clinch, right? And it's gonna be like a big step and step, or like a big step and slide, and we're covering as we come in, okay? So again, our arms from standing, that's what our guard is. On the ground, we're on our back, it's our legs. It's not that we don't use our arms, we will use arms, right? But it's just the terminology, right? We wanna understand that there is a guard from standing, and it's here. I could use it to grip and grab and clinch. I could use it to defend against those things or against strikes. This one is gonna be a figure 8 pattern with the belt, okay? So essentially, I'm thinking about going shoulder to hip, like that, right? So there's side to side, that was last class, and now we're going figure 8. And I'm just gonna swing about this pace for him. He's trying to think like, okay, when that goes to a hip, he's following it to the hip. That's how I like to think about it, right? So this goes up and it's down to the hip, right? He doesn't want to get hit. As soon as it goes crosses that center line going down, that's when he can initiate a clinch and jam the belt, right? So think if that was me going to rear back, or I'd swung and missed with a baseball bat and I was about to come back forward, that's a great time to initiate that clinch. So there's a lot of applications on this. This is just a drill for him to develop that idea of like, okay, I got to get in for a clinch. Some people want to clinch and they're too far away and they have no idea. They got great takedowns, they make a mistake, you know, good clinch, whatever, but closing the distance is a big part of the strategy. So here's how we develop that skill. We're swinging figure 8. Whenever he's ready, good, not bad. Cover a little bit more, all right? Figure 8. Yes, good. Okay, now, when we come into clinch like that, think about some clinches we've learned. Over under clinch, right? We've learned that. We've learned being to the side with an underhook. Here, grabbing the hip bone, a side clinch, right? And for the body fold takedown, or the body lock takedown from the front, we learned a double underhook clinch, right? And there's more clinches than that. Those are the basic ones we covered. You can focus on one key thing other than what clinch you've got, and that is getting the shoulder and the head connected, okay? Here, I can put my hands, oh, I got double under, oh, I got over under, right? Oh, I'm going to the side. So I just kind of a neutral once we cover in close distance. It can be just kind of a neutral clinch at this point. We will review this later and we will close distance, and then it'll be like, hey, I want you to do this clinch for this takedown. Is a review of some things we covered in the other classes. Okay, so we're doing horizontal swing, Good, good. All right, nice. Closing distance for clinch. So be able to follow an opponent in all directions. Be able to move in all directions. It's two different things. Just practice them separately and then together, right? So we need to be able to move forward, backward, side to side on an x-axis in diagonal patterns. We need to be able to pivot and circle here and maintain that line of sight as we do so, okay? And then maintain base against grabs. No matter if they're clinching, I was grabbing him, pushing, pulling his shoulders, steering him side to side, right? And there's lots of tests that you can do, shoulder pushes. We'll get into a lot of this in future classes. Next, we're gonna get into deflecting strikes. Punch defense or slap from standing, okay? So anytime you're thinking hooks in a conventional boxing sense, that's a term for a punch that comes from the outside, right? So even the haymaker or the overhand could be considered a variation of the hook, right? You kind of down, boom, the big haymaker. Now people give tells when they go to do that, they rear back. I'm gonna give Micah some tells today since he's still learning phase on this, right? He's going through these classes for the first time. So we've got either a slap or we've got an overhand, right? Or a hook. You think about all of those, right? We've got straight punches to the face and straight punches to the body. So that's what we're thinking about defending against, right? So go ahead and get in this base, Micah, right? Move forward a little bit. And we're gonna be a closer distance than here. This is our two-hand distance. We're doing everything from previously developing this depth perception. And then here, we're gonna be closer quarters, right? So here, it's less of an initiation for me to clinch, okay? So here's the thing. When I go to touch his face, right? He needs to use his forearms to block, okay? In our striking classes here, and this is other systems too, they've always called that a cuff block. Traditional martial arts systems will call it a forearm block. I've seen it in Muay Thai, I've seen it everywhere, okay? So we're here, and if he goes to punch me with this rear hand, I'm coming there. I'm twisting, and I'm cuffing there, and that allows me to be able to come back with strikes. That allows me to be able to initiate a clinch, okay? And that's gonna be how we're gonna add on to this in the future, is we're just trying to develop our reflexes here, right? Of, okay, somebody is punching at my face or body or swinging at my head, right? I'm not thinking about hitting them back all the time, or just like when we do striking, all right, throw your jab at me, Micah, boom, bop, bop, bop. All right, throw your jab at me, boom, bop, 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 right? Well, we're not thinking about that offensive side right now, okay? And when we do, it's gonna be real basic. I'm gonna hit you once and clinch. If you're still standing up, right, nice little elbow on the way in, clinch you, take you down, control you. That's the path we're trying to follow in our sequences, okay? So we're here in our base, good. Let's make sure we got balance, hips are forward. Here, you got your line of sight. All right, now, when I come at your face, I want you to connect with your forearm, and you don't just knock it out of the way like a parry. That's something we can do. I want you to twist your body and add a little weight to it, right here. Yes, good, good. And go back. All right, I'm gonna go this side. Here, good. Here, nice. Here, very good. Here, nice. Okay, yes, sir.
Are you just going with the arm, or is it like turning the hips to do it?
But a little bit of both, right? So here, I want to twist my torso, and watch what happens when I twist my torso. Mm-hmm. It's gonna turn a little bit, right? But then also watch this, throw that hand right there. Here, look how I've closed distance, I've kept that arm over there. I've pinned it against your body, like what we're talking about on that swing, right? So that's kind of some application idea on that, okay? So here, right, that's just fists to the face, okay? Now I'm just gonna do slaps on the outside. In future class, again, we'll do focus mitts and stuff a little bit, where we introduce different drills here, okay? But if I'm doing an overhand or a slap, I'm just kind of slap at his ear, all right? And here, good, you can cover block, right? Here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna use our forearms again, right? So you slap at me here, right? I wanna lean my weight and redistribute. So here, you know, I want weight into my balls of my feet a little bit anyway, because I'm thinking, okay, I'm in my defensive base here. I've got balance, but my knees are bent. I'm not just in that natural posture here, right? So I've assumed that stance. You go to slap here, right? I can hook over for that, right? But I want to connect to it in the same way you connected to the other strike. We'll go over the cover block and the parries in future classes though, right? So those are other applications. Like he does also striking classes here at the gym. So he's thinking about some of that too, right? But again, we're thinking about this from a jiu-jitsu perspective, right? So somebody comes to take a jiu-jitsu class, they're not here for a boxing class or a Muay Thai class. Maybe they do that too, like this man, right? But for the people that don't, that are just doing a beginner jiu-jitsu class for self-defense, you know, learning how to defend your face against strikes and getting hit in the brain, right? I'm telling you right now, getting hit in the liver is one of the worst experiences ever, right? And it'll knock you out. Like your body will seize up, okay? So here, I'm gonna slap to the outside. I want you to connect with that forearm, right? Meet a little bit. Yeah, see, oh. Leaning all my weight into you and you didn't move. That's what I was talking about putting a little weight into it, okay? If I slap here, same thing, good. Don't wanna go too much, you don't wanna overcommit, right? But that was really close, right? Here, slap. Don't reach too far, just out, right? Go this side. Here, good. Here, nice. Let's go to the face with the straight. Here, here. Here, here. Good, turn, don't reach, turn. This side again. Here, 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 here. Not out. Kind of 45, like, look at the angle my shoulders are on, right here with my hands, boom. I want to go out this way or straight out. It's here, right? That allows me to still be able to react, whether that's closing distance or clinch. We're coming back to my guard, okay? So let's go back to face again. Face, face, head, head. A little more weight. That's it. Good. Twist. Good. Nice. Okay, so that's a big lesson, guys. Again, that's the basics. One more part we want to add on to this lesson, right? But is the body, okay? So we do the same thing, palms and punches to the body, and but then it's clinches, then it's follow-up strikes. This is a big lesson where we even have other deflections we may use with the hand, right? Now, on this portion, we'll use the forearm also, but we'll go to more towards the elbow than the hand, okay? So if you're punching at my body here, right? Here. See, I add a little weight into that. I might want to close distance for a clinch. Is exactly kind of what I was, thinking and simulating there. So same idea here for the head, here for the body, right? Now, here's what people do when they block body shots. That's what I want you to do, right? We have also boxing here at the gym, right? And that's a big thing, like, I'll get them to put their hand down so you can hit them in the face or vice versa, right? So what we want to do is think about touching the elbow and the hip together. This doesn't, give up a lot of ground for me, okay? When I do that, it's almost like I'm looking at my palm when I bring it down, okay? And I'm just right back, just like I'm right back, okay? So let's overview that body real quick. So I'm gonna punch at the body here, 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 here. Nice, okay? Now, I must slap at the body. We're thinking about touching that elbow to the hip. Here, right? Boom, boom. Bring the hip up a little bit too, right? Here, here, here. Look how, look at my upper body when I do this. Okay? My hands don't go down when I think about elbow to hip, okay? So here's the thing, if somebody hits you in the hip, that's gonna hurt them, right? Yes, you can, you know, teep in front kick and kick the hip and off balance some people, but a lot of times when you hit a bony surface, the foot, or even another bone, like even someone's knee, it can hurt you. Bone on bone is usually bad for the person that's, you know, throwing the hard strike. We've seen that in famous fights and in otherwise, right? So just kind of touch, yes. All right, go this side. Here, nice, a little better. Boom, don't drop the hand too much. Because what if I come up here? Yeah, practice that. So I go low, and then I go high, connect to it. Boom, yes, low, high, good. Let's do the same thing here. Low, high, connect to that a little bit more. Don't just pull it right back. Here, yes, good, stay in base. Good, low, high, connect, right? Here, you can hook, and if I start trying to pull back, that's your time to initiate an elbow, a palm strike, and clinch. Okay, let's do low, high on this side one more time. Low, high, good. Now let's do low, don't reach for it. Twist, twist, and high. Twist, twist, don't push the hand, turn with the body. Twist, twist, low, high outside. Low, high, low, high. Okay, let's go all in order. We're gonna do the face, body. We'll start with the head, then we'll go to the body, and then we'll do outside, we'll do head, and then body. All right, so, good, body, nice. Here, get a little more weight in that. Good, good, body. Yeah, touch that hip, nice. All right, good. Learning some new things about base, right? Like what if, you know, and he did a club defense seminar. We had one last night at the gym working self-defense techniques, right? Same sort of ideas we're talking about here. And it's same sort of concepts coming up, like, oh, base. Oh, okay, learn some new things about base. And, you know, you don't just need to be able to maintain base against somebody grabbing you. What if they're swinging something at you? Big strike, slap, punch, of any kind, right? And we kind of talked about that on kick avoidance with the distance thing. Go 2 hand distances. Stay right where you are. I can't reach you with any conventional kick, right? So he's safe there. That's why we keep bringing this distance up, okay? We need to be able to manage it and understand it. A term I use a lot here, it's depth perception, right? Depth perception is something you can develop. If you never developed it before, you couldn't catch a ball when you were in school, no big deal. You will develop it through training martial arts, I promise, right? Your brain just, you will be in that situation, oh, it's this far away, it's this far away, it's this far away, and you will develop that understanding. So managing distance, maintaining base, big themes. Today we're looking at that against strikes. So we'll keep adding on to those drills, and we'll be moving on to the next part of the class, which is getting into mount. All right, so we're going over the ideas of holding low mount, controlling low mount, and ways that people are going to try to escape. Just basically, they're going to try and push you off is the beginner way we're going to start looking at it. Right now, I'm in a middle mount, so the takedowns to mount we've seen, kind of right here, okay? A low mount, what I'm doing is I'm moving my hips back, I'm putting my feet together around his legs, and I want my knees to spread out, okay? So they're going apart. Now, the next thing I want to do is I don't want my posture to be up like this with a proud chest. I want to drape my back, my spine, almost like I'm thinking like a wet blanket, right? And this makes my knees light where I can move side to side and my hands light, okay? So right here. It's hips are creating pressure downward, right? When I'm in the middle mount, I want to set on him, I want to have weight forward on my knees, okay? That way if he starts bridging, turn on his side, I can adjust, okay? A great entry for low mount is when somebody's just really pushing your hips back, trying to frame, right? I put my hips down, my hips are also back, right? And then I get that posture we were talking about, okay? So that's low mount. So we're gonna go over some different ways to hold low mount. And the first thing we're gonna do is he's just gonna push under my arm to the side, okay? So, right, I've got low mount here. Yes, see, he can get out with that, right? Imagine he's a really strong person, okay? 265, and you know, they can bench press twice your body weight, right? They put that hand under your armpit, they might stiff arm you off. Okay, so I'm back in low mount. Here's what we need to do when he pushes to the side, right? I hug the head and I post the hand. I'm still light here on the hand, okay? If he pushes this side, I hug the head and post the hand. He pushes again, hug the head and post the hand, okay? Real basic idea there. The next part here is we're gonna be looking at pummeling our elbow out, okay? So there's correct ways and incorrect ways to try and grip, okay? If he's not bridging and making my hands, you know, anchored to the mat, because right now they're light, and he just tries to go over my hand, I can pummel. Here, go the other side. Here, right? There. As soon as so you can't just wrap over the arm. There's preceding things you have to do, shoulder walk, bridge, etc. Okay? Now if he tries to go under, and then grab with like both. Okay? Sometimes people try and control the elbow like that. Do that again. You just retract your elbow. Do the other side. Retract the elbow. Do this side. Retract the elbow. Okay? So, different ideas there. He's either going to come under with one, I retract, or under with both. Right? I retract. If he comes over, I pummel back to the inside position. And then combining the parts 1 and 2 there, okay? Push under my arm like we did on the first one, right? When I'm here, sometimes people will try and, okay, well, my hip escape didn't work. I'm gonna try and over-wrap this arm. Boom. Okay, so thinking about pummeling, right? That means it's, you know, he's moving his arm, I'm moving his arm. You know, we're pummeling back and forth. I want that inside position. I don't want him to control my arm. Okay, so that's the first two major ideas on maintaining the low mount, right? You want to have proper distribution of weight, hip placement, posture, hands and knees light so you can base and adjust. If he tries to push under my arm side to side, under the head and post, under the head and post. And then if he tries to control my arms, I'm pummeling. Okay, so another way to be able to maintain and retain that control that you're exerting with your low mount, okay? So I'm in this low mount position. I've got good posture. My hands and knees are light. I've got my spine bent over like this, right? Instead of looking up in that cobra posture, okay? So drape over, and that makes my chest extremely heavy. And that's why people do things like try and push under your arms, or in this situation, he's just going to be pressing vertically, upward, right? Like a bench press. Nothing special, nothing crazy. He's pushing my chest or shoulders straight upward, okay? Now, when he does this, okay, what I want to do is I want to tilt my shoulders here and come back to the inside, one at a time, okay? If you try and do both, you'll face plant, so be careful, all right? So, I'm assuming that low mount position, right? My hips are back, I'm light, got that posture, turn, okay? And then I'm back down, right? And one more time, turn the shoulder and pummel, there, okay? So that's our third option. We've got one more left to cover. We'll go over that next. Okay, so this is our fourth way to hold the mount position with the low mount. So what we want you thinking about is we've learned a couple of takedowns already. They go to mount. you got there, they did something like try to push your hips back, right? Try to push my hips straight back. So I smash and I get low mount here. I get that posture, hands and knees light. Now, this is gonna be the last of the ways to hold, but I want you to think like when you enter mount, people are gonna start trying to escape. Hate to break it to you, right? So you've gotta be able to hold that position, right? So everybody wants to learn the arm bar and the cool stuff. Yes, we will go over that. But really being able to hold that position and get all of these little details on being heavy and adjusting and not overcommitting and timing your attacks, very, very important to spend time on that. And that's a major focus of this class, okay? So I've got this low mount, and here he's trying to turn on his side to maybe do like a knee elbow escape, right? So we do knee elbow escapes against the low mount with the feet together in the back like this, right? But when he turns on his side to escape, right, what I want to do is I want to bring this heel on the hip that's raising up. And when I do that, right, I'm shifting my posture here, and that flattens that hip down, okay? If he's turning this way, I'm also flaring this knee out when I do that, right? And that flattens it, okay? If he turns this way, this heel goes up, right? And this knee goes out. All right, one more time, he turns this way, turn the other way, all right, this knee here, and then turn this way. There you go. And look, my hands are maintaining being light, okay? And just a reminder on that posture, right? Like I'm trying to keep that downward posture, right? If I'm up, I'm talking to the camera, but keep that downward posture in that low mount versus here. I'm not as heavy here. Here, I start getting heavier, and then I get more mobile to base, to hook the head, to pummel with my hands. I want my hands to remain light. That's really important detail on distribution of weight. If my hands are heavy, too much weight in my hands. Weight in the hips, hands and knees light and mobile, so I can stop his main ways of trying to get out, okay? Okay, low mount review here with Micah. He's gonna be going over all of the ideas on maintaining this top mount control, the low mount, okay? So we went over 4 different ways. So first, let's get his low mount set up, all right? If somebody's trying to push you back like this, it's a great time to, okay, well, he's pushing my hips back, I'm gonna keep my hips back. Put your feet together in the back, knees wide, come down with your hands on the mat, good. See. Oh man, I can't possibly do that. Come back up to a higher mount. Watch here. Right? You can just literally stiff arm him off. But if I start pushing back and he goes to a low mount, that stops that, okay? So that's a great entry idea. People start trying to push you off with frames, okay? If you can't parry those frames away, low mount, okay? Get your low mount back. Okay, so I'm pushing his hips back, and he's got a really good low mount. Good. Okay, so the first idea is I'm going to be pushing him to the side. Okay? And when I do that, this arm is just going to go under my... Good. And we're light here with this hand. Nice. Okay? Back in the middle. Here. Good. Nice. Good. See, I'm moving around a little bit, checking his base, all right? Very good, come up. So that's good. This is hooking the head, going under, and posting, all right? Now, there's different things that people are gonna try and do. They know that, okay, I trap the arm on the UPA escape, all right? And then I bridge and roll him over. Let's talk about that, right? So, if I just try and overhook his arm for no reason, he pummels. He pummels. He pummels. If I try and do this, okay, let me get it first. Here. All he has to do is retract his elbow. Yes. 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 Okay, let's do those back to back. Pummel. All right. Retract. Nice. Okay. Now, they also, just stay back now, they may just come this way. If they come one or both, it's the same thing, you retract the elbow. Okay, so just to review. All right, now, the last thing, get back in that low mount, like be real heavy, chest down. Yeah, get that spine, head forward. I start trying to press him up. He needs to tilt his shoulders, put that hand in your back pocket as you pummel to the inside. Boom. Do the other side now. Boom. Okay? One at a time. Right? To get that good weight, good posture. I'm pushing up, turn, pummel, pummel. Good, back down. Good, light on the hands. I'm pushing up, turn, reach back. A little more tilt in the shoulders, just subtle. Just subtle. Reach back into that pocket. Okay. Good. Nice. Okay, very good. Back up. Last one is I'm trying to turn on my side to do like a knee elbow escape or a hip escape. Okay. With this one, he's got to shift his hips and redistribute his weight. Get in your low mount. Okay. I'm checking his low mount, seeing if I can push him backwards. Okay. Good, good posture. Now, if I turn on my side, my hip's coming up. He's going to raise his heel on that side and flare the knee on this side so I can't push it out. And he flattens me. Okay. Now, if I turn, I'm going to lift this hip up. Okay, so I'm there. He flares that heel, and he flattens me back out. Okay, let's do this side one more time. Good, nice. Okay, very good. So again, you enter into mount. Somebody starts trying to push you off here, go to low mount. They start trying to push you to the side, hook my head. They start trying to wrap over your arm, pummel. They start trying to push your chest, tilt back, here, here. I'm turning on my side, flare, nice. Okay, heel is up on this, always on that side you're doing, right? Versus a grapevine. Heel to the butt, right, is what we're thinking. Grapevine, go ahead and grapevine me. It's really easy to get out of. And we'll learn that in a future class, okay? So, hey, good job. So don't just get to mount. That's like the major focus. Oh, I did the technique, I got the mount. You know, we'll see in this class later, going from side control. We've seen takedowns, right? And then we've seen some escapes already. So you gotta hold that mount, right? That's the goal. So have some main ways that you deal with people trying to get out of mount.